Okay, we will start the prayer. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Shwapadamtikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखावितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So first of all, I welcome all the devotees once again for our Bhakti Shastri class, and we'll begin with the sloka recitation. कार्पण्यदोषोपहता स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसमूढचेताः। यश्श्रेयः स्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्। देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति। न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः। अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे। भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तया प्रहृतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ नाभिधीयते। प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढ़ात्मा कर्ताहमिति मन्यते। एवं परंपरा प्राप्तम् इमं राजर्षयो विदुः सकालनेह महता योगो नष्टः परन्तप। परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे। जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम् एवं यो वेति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नयति मामेति सोऽर्जुन। तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षयन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः। ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्य अन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुध। भोक्तारां यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति। योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः। कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेता। यश्श्रेयः स्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्। देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति। न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः। अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे। भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तया प्रहृतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधौ न विधीयते। प्रकृतिः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढात्मा कर्ताहम् इति मन्यते एवं परंपरा प्राप्तम् इमं राजर्षयो विदुः सकालनेह महता योगो नष्टः परन्तप परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम् एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नयति मामेति सोऽर्जुन तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षयन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्य अन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुध भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकामहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मता हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So anyone remembers how many sloka we did last time?
2.31, 2.31 we completed.
Yes. How many?
2.31 Swadharmamapi Chaveksha.
Acha, okay. Hmm. 3-1. ठीक. So we have completed the Sankhya part. Now we are coming to karma part. Karma kand. Hmm. So many times in this world, the inspiration given by the leaders to their dependents is mostly based upon karma, the fruits of karma. If you do this thing, you will get this thing. Therefore, even if you find in politics, like even Chanakya Pandit also many times mentions certain many his political science book, how you should live in family life, how you should behave with others, Niti Shastra. These are all based upon karma. Because if you do the wrong way activity, you will have to suffer. So Niti Shastra should not be applied with the devotees. Niti Shastra basically is used for those who are outsiders and we have to get some work done from them. So then we use Niti, some tricks, some tactics. But with devotees, we have to be careful because they are the properties of the Lord. They are dear to the Lord and they are not, they are like our family members only. So we have to, they are like our relatives. So then we have to do everything in devotional service. Even though we may use certain tricks, but it has to be nicely applied, not to exploit the devotee, but to make the system run properly. Like sometime example, somebody shout, kitchen in charge says, "So devotees, dear devotees, we have uh, nice, nicely sweet rasgullas for all of you, and if you all come to wash the vessels in kitchen, you will get to receive those rasgulla. Huh? So rasgulla you will get when you will wash the vessels. So this is some niti is used, some lucrative things are given, and when the devotees they come and they start washing everything, they start doing, and somehow the rasgulla finishes. And then the devotee starts shouting, "Are you promised, now you're not giving, what is that?" Uh, So now from the both the side, this devotee who promised, he wanted to give, but somehow it got served to other devotees and it got finished. And in some remaining, some devotee could get, but not all. Those who are washing vessels. And these devotees who are washing the vessel, they should not have this kind of mentality. that okay, after washing we must get rasgulla. You should get surely, but if it got finished because of certain reason, you should also tolerate. So here the niti is used. So but one should understand we are doing devotional service. This devotee is inspiring others to wash vessel is also inspiring on behalf of Lord. And those who are washing vessels are also washing vessels because they want to serve the Lord. So it's like that. Only mistake happened, Rasgulla went away. It was because of plan of the Lord. So therefore, we have to be careful in our devotional service. Okay, voice is low. Once again. Hare Krishna. एक मिनट क्या हुआ? हरे कृष्णा एक हरे कृष्णा अभी कैसा आवाज हरे कृष्णा
This is perfect, Prabhuji, now.
ठीक है अभी सही है
अरे मुझे थोड़ा पानी मेरे पास भी नहीं है पूरा खत्म हो गया घर के लेके आओ उधर मुझे आने की जरूरत नहीं है घर के लेके आओ
हरे कृष्णा प्लीज स्टॉप योर फैमिली डिस्कशन
बॉटल घर के लाओ मुझे बहुत प्यास लगी
नाइस एवरीथिंग कम्स इन ऑनलाइन
अजून स्टार्ट हे बघू रे मला पुस्तक दे
So yes, so this is a part of where when Krishna is inspiring Arjuna with lower impetus, lower motives. Surely Krishna negates this later. After inspiring, he negates these things, but it is important also. In this world, everything cannot be highest. People are sometimes into such a lower condition that they have to be lifted with practical solutions at their level, and then they have to be uplifted more and more. Like it is said, one who is in mode of ignorance, he should first come to mode of passion, and those who are in mode of passion, they should come to mode of goodness. Ignorance person you cannot uplift to directly mode of goodness, because for ignorance person, goodness and ignorance are same only. It is said mode of ignorance and goodness are same. It looks similar, but they are not similar. So therefore, first the one who is a lazy, first make him active, and when he becomes active, then you tell him to gain knowledge, so that he will act with the proper purpose. Okay, so who will we say? Okay, Sanatan Gopal Prabhu. So okay, Sanatan Gopal Prabhu, you can read. I will recite the mantra chanting, and then you can read the translation. So for 31 we have done. Considering your specific duty as Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you for fighting for you than fighting on religious principles. So there is no need for agitation. So we saw that how the Kshatriya means what. So PAW, PA means protection, administration, and welfare. These three activities are assigned to Kshatriyas as their duties. So we discussed about Swadharma also. So Varnashram is a Swadharma on bodily plane, and Bhakti is a Swadharma after one gets liberated. Means devotional service actually begins after liberation. So What we are doing right now is given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is a mercy, is a discount given to us that even we are in conditioned state, we can do devotion service. Actually, bhakti does not require any qualification, so anyone can do. At the same time, bhakti becomes the process to uplift us to the Brahma Bhuta first and then later ahead. So that is a special contribution of Srila Prabhupada, or you can say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, people earlier followed Varnashram Dharma and they used to offer their result to Krishna. So Varnashram Dharma is not pure devotional service. It's a mixed devotional service. So here the karma is according to one's varna. So if somebody is a Brahmana, so his karma is according to his Brahmanical traits. Yajan, yajan, patan, patan, dan, pratigra. So, and if somebody is Kshatriya, then the karma is according to his traits. Now karma and dharma is both are same. Earlier, dharma artha kam moksha. Dharma means activities, occupational duty, Prabhupada says. So what a Kshatriya should do according to his varna, that is his dharma. So karma and dharma were same earlier. Now karma and dharma are separate because there is no knowledge of dharma and there is no institution of varnashram dharma. So therefore you cannot give any karma to him. So unless there is a varna properly decided, how can we assign a karma to that person? Like a engineer, unless he is posted in some company, how can you give him work? So it's like that. The quality and work should match. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, understanding that in this age there will be no Varnashram Dharma because people are mostly on bodily platform and Kali Yuga is especially meant to dismantle all such systems. The more systems will be destroyed, especially the Vedic system. They are making some now foreign system or some artificial system. The more Vedic systems are destroyed, the more people will lose faith in Vedas and the God, and so it will become a religious society slowly. So it has become like that. So Varnashram Dharma, its focus was basically to uplift living entity from whatever Varna they are, whatever ashram they are, ultimately to surrender to the Lord. So we find it begins with the highest as the Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and the Sannyasi. So Sannyasi was a guru for Brahmana also. So Brahmana is the ideal person in a Varnashrama. In all the four Varnas, he is an ideal person who lives in the world and who exemplifies his work, his consciousness. And so the people of other Varnas, they will take him as ideal and they will follow. Like God is a chief living entity among all other living entity. In the similar way, the ardent follower of God, who is called Brahmana, he becomes also the ideal for all the other Varnas. So Brahmanical culture was therefore followed by all other Varnas because Brahmana was a leader earlier. Brahmanas used to follow simple living, high thinking. This was their work. See, if you follow your duties, you can live a simple life and you can live a cultured life. When you follow your duties, you can live a simple life and you can also live a cultured life. Because what do you mean by culture? Culture means simply doing your duty properly. That is a culture. Yes, if you are Brahmana, you should wake up early in the morning and perform some yajna. Yes, and you should again help others to learn these yajnas. You should distribute the knowledge of the Supreme Lord. This is a culture. This is a Brahmanical culture. Means everyone is fixed up in their activities and they are also cooperating among each other. This is a culture. So when we know about our duties properly, right duties give you simple and cultured life. And detachment from results which we get after doing our duty gives you contented and godly life. Contented means you become satisfied, peaceful, whatever comes by its own accord, you are happy. And godly life means you have time for God. Basically, after detachment from result, you can offer that result to God, so you become godly also. Krishna conscious. So therefore, in later verses 2.47, Krishna says karmanyavadikara. So actually the purpose is this: कि people remain simple and cultured, and they also remain contented and godly. So like that. So here it's mentioned about the varnashram dharma. So for majority of the people, until they come to the liberation, they have to follow this dharma. And Prabhupada writes here, unless one achieves liberation, he has to follow this dharma, varnashram, like just like a set pattern for him. He does not have any other option. जैसे जन्म लिया, या तो शूद्र है या तो ब्राह्मण, नहीं तो वैश्य नहीं शूद्र. शूद्र को कोई गुरुकुल की जरूरत नहीं है. शूद्र does not require any schooling. He only requires some training at home. And he's already fixed. His father is serving some of the senior members in Varna, like Brahmanas, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and so the Sudra, the son of his father understand that okay, now my father is a army man in military, so therefore now I will also become army man. So in the army previously, like the kings used to be Kshatriya, but not those who were foot soldiers. They were never Kshatriyas. They were Sudras actually. They were trained how to fight. Because once the king runs away or king is dead, all these armies they run away. You must have seen. Actually, Kshatriya cannot run away. If somebody challenges us, Kshatriya cannot run away. But why the foot soldiers they run away? Because they were Sudras and they were paid. So payment is given to Sudra and they are also employed. And so they were trained how to catch, how to hold the sword, how to fight. So they were like a Sudra. But the real army or the real strength is with Kshatriya. Kshatriyas used to fight and they used to simply support. Like that. And they would be given some salary, some kind of wages, like that. So Sudra does not require any very great training or samskaras. He just serves the higher varnas and he becomes purified. And next life then he is born as a Vaishya or Kshatriya because of his association with whatever kind of gunas he associates with. So this was the process of uplifting different varnas one by one in previous times. But now Kalo Sudra Sambhava, everybody Sudra. Means either he is a politician or he is a businessman or he is a construction engineer or he is a doctor or whatever post he has, he is a Sudra only. Because he does not have any training from Vedic literature. So even though he has Brahminical traits, but he does not have a training, he does not have qualification to meet those qualities in his life, to work according to those qualities. So he still is Sudra only. Kalos or Janmana Jayate Sudra. From birth one is Sudra only. By training he becomes Brahman or or Kshatriya or Vaishya by training given by Guru. So there is no training now. So everyone is Sudra. And that is why problem is happening. And what is the goal of Sudra? Like we discussed now, Brahminical goal is simple living, spiritual thinking or high thinking. What is the purpose or the goal of Sudra? Money making and sense gratification. Eat, drink and be merry. ये Sudra का philosophy है. Sudra lives for this purpose. खाओ पियो मजा करो बस. इसीलिए आज पूरी सोसाइटी पढ़ाई करने के बाद भी पैसे के पीछे भागती है. पैसे और सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन ही चाहिए जीवन का लक्ष्य. माँ बाप भी उसी लिए ट्रेन करते बेटा तो पढ़ाई कर किस लिए, अमेरिका जाने के लिए, पैसा कमा, अच्छे से जीवन जी. क्योंकि कुछ हो या ना हो, भगवान है या नहीं है पता नहीं, ब्राह्मण है या नहीं है नहीं पता नहीं, लेकिन तू अच्छे से शूद्र बन के रहना. Nicely trained for Sudra training is there. And it's correct because the modern education is producing bunch of lineage of Sudras और वेगाबोंडा. या तो आवारा बन रहे लोग, नहीं तो शूद्र बन रहे लोग. मॉडर्न एजुकेशन की जय हो. इसलिए so this is a problem actually. So therefore varnashram to whatever extent if it can be brought to train people, it is very good. Or fully engage in devotional service. Forget everything, fully engage in devotional service. That can also take care to large extent. Yadichaya chopannam swargadvaram apavritam sukhina kshatriya partha labante yuddham idrisham. Yes.
O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the
Heavenly planets. Ah.
heavenly planets.
See, earlier these Varnas were so meticulously designed that if some follows one's dharma properly, immediately he will receive the result. There is no question whether he will go to heaven or not, because they were properly trained Kshatriyas. So here it's mentioned that if a Kshatriya is fighting and fighting opportunity comes without seeking for it, eh? Like sometime for preachers, if somebody calls for giving lecture, eh? Katha, so it's a success for him. In the similar Kshatriya, somewhere fight like Bangladesh. Now ISKCON is also training some fighters. So all the places fights are quite common. So these people are looking, okay, ठीक है, किधर लड़ाई करना है, आ जाओ, इसका लड़ाई करना, उसको लड़ाई. So whenever such fights opportunities are there, and if these people go and start fighting, so then they can go to heavenly planet. So whether it is applicable to nowadays or not, see, one thing is very important along with one's duty, like the knowledge of the scriptures and the following certain scriptural principles. One should also know that for what purpose one is fighting. Especially purpose becomes more important than sometimes duties also. Like one may forget some mantra, like when you go to deity worship, you may forget the mantra, but you are a devotee there. You have dedicated your life. So purpose is to serve the Lord, to please the Lord. So sometimes duty may be up and down, but when you are chanting holy name, when your purpose or intention is focused, so then Lord forgives us actually, and it becomes successful. Our work becomes successful, like that. So if purpose of a person is basically to please the Lord, or to fight a war just for fighting, so that he is protecting some devotees, protecting some people. So it is also like a Kshatriya's duties, basically. It's also Kshatriya's. So he will surely get certain return. It's not that there is zero return, no. So here Prabhupada writes, for a Kshatriya to be on battlefield to become non-violent is philosophy of fools. Kshatriyo hi praja rakshan shastra pani pradandayan nirjitya para sainyadi shitim dharmena palayet. Kshatriya duty is to protect the citizen from all kinds of difficulties. For that reason, he has to apply violence in suitable cases for law and order. Therefore, he has to conquer the soldiers of inimical kings, and thus, with the religious principle, he should rule over the world. So, like that. So, even in our country or any country, somebody rules the country with a dharmic principle, and he fights also against the lawbreakers, the rogues and thieves, and maintains peace in the society. So then he will also achieve that abode, like a heavenly planet after fighting. And if he dies, he goes there actually. So here Krishna is mentioning that how it's a duty of a Kshatriya to fight. Yes, Prabhu, what is the question?
Prabhuji,
Yes. Yes.
Prabhuji, my question is, so in the if someone is a Shudra, he cannot go back to Godhead in that very life. He has to take birth again as a next birth as a Brahmin, and then only he can go back to Godhead. According to this.
Yes, actually, see, this Bhakti Marg was not openly given earlier. It was not freely or so much openly given. So people used to, like now, you find actually, Hare Krishna, please mute yourself. Now in Kali Yuga, Prabhupada also wanted to give us Varnashram Dharma, but devotees could not follow because it is very impractical, means it's becoming difficult. The whole society is in city culture, and we have lost our roots also, and whole education is also misdirected, and even a main problem why we are not able to take up to previous natural system is basically economy and education, two things. Education is making us more and more sense gratifier, and believing in technology and urban living, industrialization, and economy is also not dependent on natural things. So if these two things are taken care, means basically nice economy based upon nature and also the education also, so then people can immediately go back, it is possible for them. So in this way also here the bhakti was understood to be very elevated topic, and bhakti can only be taken by those who become free from other like karma and jnana, other things, and then they will go to for bhakti process. So therefore Arjuna also in Bhagavad Gita getting confused because of this only, because he understood bhakti means first you do karma yoga nicely, then jnana yoga, then ashtanga yoga, then come to bhakti. But Krishna is telling Arjuna, no, you can start bhakti from karma yoga only, niskam karma. From there only you start bhakti, and no need to go to jnana yoga, then ashtanga yoga. Just directly you just perform this bhakti with a more and more purer motives, and more and more surrender to Krishna, and then you will directly achieve the success. So yes, what you are saying is correct. Previously, the Sudras have to evolve like that. But if some Sudras were trained or given some mercy by some pure devotee, so that was exceptional. That was exceptional. Huh? Like Balmiki was given bhakti by Narad Muni. So Balmiki was a almost less than a Sudra only. He was a dacoit, robber. So robber, he did not come into Varnashram Dharma only. He is killing people. So then he was given directly Mara Mara, chant Mara Mara, and he perfected actually. So there are some processes like that actually. People.
The Kshatriyas, according to this principle, then the Kshatriyas will not go back to Godhead. They will have to take birth as a Brahmin, have Brahminical qualities, and have devotional service, and then they can go back. Because Arjuna is an exception here, then, because Krishna has given him, bhakti and all that. Is that true?
Correct. Now the Muchukunda in 10th canto, when he saw the Lord told him, you now start roaming around the world, and next life will become a Brahmana, and then you'll come back to me.
Prabhuji, so Karna, Ekalavya, they are also the same examples because they had qualities but not bhakti.
See, yes. So the Karna and Ekalavyas, so don't think that they will become pure devotee. First they have to perform first bhakti. किधर भक्ति किया उन्होंने, भक्ति थोड़ी किया उन्होंने, वो तो दोनों उल्टे एग्जाम्पल है. Their examples only negative examples, so they will not go anywhere. They will either be born as a Kshatriya once again, or because of first they will have to suffer the sinful reactions. So this was clear that simple understanding, the modes which you associate with, you will get that body next life. Okay, so the Kshatriyas maximum association is mode of goodness only, and bhakti gives you sattva guna, suddha sattva guna. So now if somebody does not meet any pure devotee, does not practice renunciation and then pure devotional service, then he does not go. Now there are some examples I will tell you, like Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj, what he did, at end of his life, Banprastha he took, and he did not take sannyas. In Banprastha he practiced mystic yoga and bhakti, and he went back to Godhead. So he was himself a Saktaves avatar, but he showed the example. Okay, he went. Now as you are saying, so you are saying that Prabhuji means whether he will become Brahmana next life. See, if that person is not a Raj Rishi, he does not have any knowledge of bhakti, like Rishabdev, he went back to Godhead. Pandavas, they went back to Godhead. So those who have connection with bhakti process and they are also living a Raja life, so they are Raj Rishi, they can go in one life only. But those who follow customary Varnashram system, upliftment after one after another, they have to take rebirth, and then they will go back. It's like that.
So the association of pure devotee is...
Yes. Bina mahatpaj rajobhishekam nishkinchana namna pranita yavata. For pure devotional service, without dust of lotus feet of pure devotees, no one can achieve kingdom of Godhead. इट हैज़ टू कम फ्रॉम समवेयर, आना ही चाहिए। शुद्ध भक्त का कृपा के बिना नहीं कोई जा सकता। तो ऐसा है, वो भगवान ने उनको ही क्या बोलते हैं उसको, एटर्निटी दे के रखा है उनके अंडर ही, कि आप ही बांटो इस भक्ति को। सो लाइक दैट। So in this system, Arjuna is already, he's a devotee, so for him it's not a problem, but for others it's a problem. Like in 8th chapter, Krishna will mention the yogi's living body, Uttarayan, Dakshinayan. He says, Arjuna, you should not worry because you are my devotee. But for other Kshatriyas, for other yogis, they have to worry. Like Bhishma, they were showing that I am living body in Uttarayan, even though he was a devotee, but he was showing that how a Kshatriya should leave a body at a right moment, or how any mystic or yogi should leave a body. So he is showing that the principle still applies. If Kshatriya is not a devotee and living body other times, or even mystic yogi not living body in Uttarayan, so then they will have different destinations. So for karmis, for jnanis, for yogis, this all process apply which we are discussing now, the karma part. For devotees, Krishna takes charge of their account of their karma, and then Krishna deals with them like that. अथ चेत्त्वम् इमं धर्म्यं संग्रामं न करिष्यसि, ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापम् अवाप्स्यसि।
If, however, you do not perform this religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter.
See, this is that sloka which Krishna says कि if you do not fight, if you do not do your activity or dharma, you will incur sin. Not because you will kill your family members, then you will incur sin, but even if you do not do your duty, you will incur sin. So this is a sloka even can be told to normal people also. Like if a child is not studying his books, so parents can say to child, if you do not study, you will incur sin. In the similar way, if a husband is not doing his duty, if wife is not doing duty, now somebody can say, but how do you know our duty? So it's not a very great rocket science now to learn. If somebody is husband and wife, they should know what is their duty. At least for means ऊपर मोटा मोटा तो जानना ही चाहिए व्यक्ति को. In the similar, a child should know what is his duty. If a child is not offering obeisances to his parents or touching their feet, or not offering obeisances or touching the feet of their elder members or relatives, so then he should be told, पैर छुओ, ये नहीं तो sin लगेगा तुमको. Sin means what? Sin means disobedience to God. The principles made by God, we disobey those principles, so that is sin. So like that, and the sins are dealt in the hell. यम लोग में सभी एक एक पापों का वहाँ पे अच्छे से डीलिंग होता है. So here it's mentioned for Arjuna, if you do not fight being a Kshatriya, you will incur sin. So see, Prabhupada says that how Arjuna was a famous warrior. 1 minute. So Arjuna, he fought with Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva became happy and gave him Pashupat Astra. So everyone knew that he was a great warrior. Even Dronacharya gave him benediction and awarded him a special weapon. But if he abandoned the battle, not only would he neglect his specific duty as Kshatriya, but also lose all the fame. Yes. And Prabhupada writes, thus prepare his royal road to hell. He will go to hell if he does not do the duty. Akirtim chapi bhutani kathayisyanti te vyam sabhavitasya chakirtir maranad atirichyate.
People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death.
Yes, so especially we know that past time in Mahabharata, dishonor is worse than death for a respectable person. So Kshatriyas, they lot of identify with their respects. Yes, because they live in opulence, and somebody should immediately see the Kshatriya and they should bow down to Kshatriya or start glorifying the Kshatriyas. So they identify with opulence, with kingdom, with their own entourage, with their names, lineage, everything. So Kshatriyas are highly respected people. For a Brahmana, even somebody neglects Brahmana, he tolerates. But we have seen also like Durvasa Muni, अगर कोई ब्राह्मण दुर्वासा मुनि के सामने कोई उनको नेग्लेक्ट कर दे तो डायरेक्टली शाप ही निकलता है. So for him, for some Brahmanas, rishis, they are very different. But in general, Brahmanas tolerate. But Brahmana will not tolerate in adharma. He may tolerate, now somebody can say, but this is also adharma done against him. Yes, that is also adharma. But in general, what happens? Brahmana also knows that if I become angry, I will lose my tejas, I will lose my power. So then he has to manage both the things. That I should not become degraded just because these low class people are not respecting, like that. So therefore, Brahmana may teach those people what is the right behavior, but he may not fight with those people. But Kshatriyas, they may fight with those people if they do not respect. Kshatriya's way of behavior dealing is different actually. So here it's mentioned that if somebody is very much a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. So now Prabhupada says, Prabodhananda Saraswati, he says that in our sampradaya, that how to preach. If you have to preach to rich people, you have to glorify them. Oh, you are very big, you are very respectable, you have a great opulence, and glorify their work, glorify their business, their behavior, and slowly they will become very much keen to hear from you. And then you have to speak philosophy. So he says that then you have to say whatever you have gained, everything is nonsense. You have to cut whatever you have said now. Earlier you said, you have to cut now. So that is the preaching, he says. Because rich people, their egos are very big. They don't want to hear. So first you have to inflate their ego, usko badhao. And then when they are little submissive, inflating ego means they make them submissive, and then you blast their ego, ki you are like that. You should therefore follow bhakti process. Both as friend and philosopher to Arjuna, Lord Krishna now gives his final judgment regarding Arjuna's refusal to fight. Lord says, Arjuna, if you leave the battlefield before the battle even begins, people will call you a coward. And if you think that people may call you bad names, but that you will save your life by fleeing in the battle, then my advice is that you better die in the battle. Yes. So do not go away from the battlefield. You have to fight the battle. भयाद्रणाद् उपरतं मंस्यन्ते त्वां महारथा येषां च त्वं बहुमतो भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम्.
The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant.
And you can read this also.
Lord Krishna continued to give his verdict to Arjuna. Do not think that the great general like Duryodhan, Karna, and other competitors will think that you have left the battlefield out of compassion for your brothers and grandfathers. They will think that you have left out of fear for your life, and thus their high esteemed of your personality will go to hell. High estimation of your personality.
Therefore, one should live with dignity in life. Dignity comes when one follows one duty very nicely and he is a very honest person. So in modern times, the training is for result more than on duties. The two part in working. Any work has two part, duty and result. So modern times people more worry about result. If result is good, you follow that duty. If result is not good, what is the use of such duty? In previous time, duties were given more priorities basically, and purpose of result was given priority. Two things. So if duty, like if a student has to study, even though he may fail in exam, but still he has to study because it's a duty. He has to study the whole year. He cannot say I don't want to study. And the purpose of getting the purpose of result, what is the purpose of result? The purpose of result is to offer it to the Lord, to become free from, ultimately to become free from entanglement, bondage of the reaction of one's work actually. And that happens by cultivation of knowledge and also by offering to the Lord. So these two things were focused actually, but in modern times only result is focused. If you are getting 10 lakh package, or not 10 lakh, 10 lakh is very small now, 50 lakh package, so then you should become IT engineer. If you are getting 1 crore package, and if it's a job in MBA or IIM or somewhere, then you take up to that business. So according to the result, people are choosing their profession or their duties, and that's why many times what happens, they become frustrated because they are not working according to their trades. So here it's mentioned, living with a dignity is so important. Unfortunately, it's not there now, and people sometimes misconceive about their talents. They become misconceived, means they don't have right understanding only कि मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ क्या नहीं कर सकता, and the whole life goes in simply comparing with one another. Just उसके पास वो है, मेरे पास क्यों नहीं है, comparison जाता है. So here Krishna also mentioning that do not think that other your contemporaries will think okay, battlefield छोड़ दिया out of compassion for his brothers. What they will think? You, because of fear of you are coward. That's why you left the battlefield. So nobody is going to give you some good benefit of doubt कि आपने हमारे लिए आपने युद्ध छोड़ा. अरे कोई नहीं सोचने वाला. सब लोग आपको क्या करेंगे, चिढ़ाएंगे. They'll make fun of you. अवाच्यवादां च बहून् वदिष्यन्ति तवाहिता निन्दन्तस्तव सामर्थ्यं ततो दुःखातरं नु किम्.
Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you?
Yes. So these statements are not going to inspire Arjuna ultimately to fight. These are basically Krishna is trying this another method, because the real way Arjuna is going to fight is to understand his relationship with Krishna. And he understands that now whatever Krishna says I have to follow. He has to surrender. Actually, these statements basically talks about some benefit, what he will get. His name, fame will remain. He will not become sinful. He will remain a Kshatriya. People will praise him for whatever work he will do. So such kind of statements are made here in Bhagavad Gita. हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महिं तस्मादुत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चय.
O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight.
उत्साह निश्चयात् धैर्य तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात्. For anything to achieve in this world, determination, utsah, enthusiasm is very much important. Very, very important. Yes, for material success or for spiritual success, one needs determination. Majority of people in this world are in mode of ignorance. Some are in mode of passion. Prabhupada says. So even passionate people are determined people. But problem with the passionate people is what? Their determination is for Sangha and Trishna, for impressing opposite sex, opposite gender, and for enjoying the objects of this world. Bhoga Aishwarya, Prashaktanam. These are passionate people. So they also become very much stressed out, frustrated, because they may have determination, they may have enthusiasm, but patience is lacking. Patience is a quality of goodness, actually. So therefore, both has to be combined, patience with goodness. Raja Rishi means what? The Raja guided by mode of goodness. Raja has passion, but the guidance is given by mode of goodness. Like Krishna is driving the chariot of Arjuna. So Krishna is showing the direction to Arjuna, where to shoot, whom to shoot, सब जगह लेके जा रहे भगवान. So it should be like that. So mode of goodness, lifestyle should be there for Kshatriya to basically keep a direction in his life, where he is going. And mode of passion is for executing whatever direction he has chosen, to execute that plan, to execute that action, whatever plan he has made, to execute that plan, that requires mode of passion, rajas. So now Krishna is saying, get up now and start fighting. Yes. Okay, now somebody else can read. Some Mataji can read. Who will opt for reading? Anyone? हाँ ठीक है, स्वामी माता जी will read. सुख दुःखे समे कृत्वा लाभो 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 जय जयो ततो युद्धायुजस्व नैमं पापम अवाप्स्यसि.
Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by doing so you shall never incur sin.
This section 38 to 53 is Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means detached work without reaction. One thing you will see Krishna using this word Buddhi Yoga different places in different context. Prabhupada in 10.10 Bhagavad Gita, Buddhi Yoga means pure devotional service. तेषां सतत युक्तानां भजतां प्रीति पूर्वकम ददामि बुद्धि योगम तम येन मामुपि यान्ति ते. यहाँ पे जो बुद्धि ददामि बुद्धि योगम, ये जो बुद्धि योग है ये प्योर भक्ति है, शुद्ध भक्ति. यहाँ पे अब जो सेक्शन चलेगा इसमें भगवान मेनी टाइम्स ही विल सफल द कॉन्टेक्स्ट. द 38 to 53 में मेनी टाइम कृष्णा विल यूज बुद्धि योगा और निष्काम कर्म योगा को बुद्धि योगा बोलेंगे भगवान, और कभी कभी प्योर डिवोशनल सर्विस को ही बोलेंगे बुद्धि योगा. तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा कन्फ्यूजन रहेगा. ये जो रास्ता है अभी हम जाने वाले हैं इसमें थोड़े टेढ़े मेढ़े हैं चीज़ें हैं, ये ध्यान देना है आपको. So one time I already spoken, Buddhi Yoga, basically if you say that it's a pure devotional service, then Niskam Karma Yoga is the beginning of Buddhi Yoga and perfection of Buddhi Yoga is pure devotional service. So what is the difference in Niskam Karma Yoga and Buddhi Yoga in one sense? See, when you search for Krishna through devotional service only, that is Buddhi Yoga. But when you search for Krishna through karma, even though you may offer result, but you have still attachment to karma, so then that is Niskam Karma Yoga. You are still there with work. So now Krishna is saying here, Sukha Dukhe Same Kritva Labho Labho Jaya Jayo. So this is the right consciousness of doing work in this world. How one should be doing work in this world. Sukha Dukhe Same Kritva Labho Labho Labh ya Alabh Jaya Ajaya. Whether you win or you lose, whether you get profit or you get loss, or whether you have sukha dukha same kritva, all should be equipoised In all situations, one should be occupied. So this is very, very important. Fighting for the cause of liberation. Like sometime we had a question. Vitrasura is a pure devotee. He is killing all the demigods. What is this? So sometimes devotees have question, Prabhu ji, भक्त को कभी ऐसा situation में रख दे, like some devotee is there and working with some company man and he's a meat eater, he's a all kind of wrong things he is doing. Then the devotee may be thinking, अरे मैं किसके साथ किसके लिए काम कर रहा हूँ? So then whether I will also get the reaction or not. So this shloka will tell, or the further shloka, this whole section will tell. When we are working in this world, what is the purpose of your working? If you are working with the purpose of liberation, even the sinful activities also will not affect you. The same thing is applying here for Arjuna. And not just because Arjuna is a devotee, Krishna is saying, but it's a law in the world or the law in the Vedas. If somebody like a Vitrasur, even though he's a Asura and he is trampling over all the Devatas, killing them, Devatas are also devotees, but they are mixed devotees. Yes? So now he is killing them. And but what is his purpose? Purpose is, oh my Lord Sankarsan, when the day will come, I will again be servant of you. When my mind, when my intelligence, when my words will again serve you, my Lord. He is saying those prayers, Vritasura. When I will give up my all fruit, because of fruitive actions and reactions, I am wandering in this world, getting attached to family, wife, children. When the day will come, my Lord, I will surrender to you. Just see the prayers of Vitrasura. His fighting is there, but purpose is to go back home, back to Godhead. And that is why he will liquidate all his sins. Sabhi khatam kar denge wo sins. So the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita tells the same thing, transcendental knowledge. When somebody is acting in this world with a transcendental knowledge, even though that act may be many times sinful, he will not become affected. So purpose is more important than duties many times. You should understand. So like that. So here he is saying, do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering the happiness. Means what? He's basically focusing for liberation. मेरे को सुख दुख से कोई मतलब नहीं है, विक्ट्री डिफीट से, बस अपनी ड्यूटी कर रहा हूँ बस. ये कॉन्शियसनेस में वास्तव में व्यक्ति को कार्य करना चाहिए. जब इस कॉन्शियसनेस व्यक्ति कार्य करता है तो क्या होता है, उसके पास समय रहता है. Like I asked, I keep on asking people. So I asked one Ola driver. So प्रभु आप कितना घंटे काम करते हो? तो बोले कि देखो हम तो, मैं कभी कभी 24 घंटा भी काम करता हूँ. मैं मतलब 24 घंटे भी काम करते हो? सोते नहीं हो क्या? पता नहीं, कभी नींद नहीं आती तो 24 घंटे भी हो जाता है काम. नींद ही नहीं आती कभी कभी. देन आई सेड नेक्स्ट डे यू माइट बी स्लीपिंग. हाँ, जब नींद आती सो जाते हैं, बट मेनी टाइम्स आई डोंट स्लीप. बट आई सॉ दैट पर्सन, एक्चुअली हिज मेंटल स्टेटस वाज नॉट वेरी गुड. He did not know where to go. He was asking me किधर जाना है. मैंने बोला अरे जीपीएस में देख के तो चलो. बोला समझ में नहीं आ रहा जीपीएस. मैं बोला कि गड़बड़ा इंसान है, टक्कर ना मार दे कहीं भी है. इसका मतलब क्या है, 24 घंटे से ज़्यादा काम किया तो नींद नहीं हुआ तो एक्सीडेंट हो सकता है. Why? It's not that people are working just because their passion is to work. No. Behind passion, what is there? They want some profit. So then I asked him, what is the profit? So then he said, मेरे को इधर EMI भरना है, मैंने ये फ्लैट लिया है, मेरे को इधर ये खरीदना है, ये मैंने खरीद के रखा है, इसको भरना है. तो मैं समझ में आ गया, इसका पूरा लिस्ट है उसके पास क्या क्या चीज़ है. दैट इज़ वाई इज वर्किंग. सो देयरफॉर डिटैचमेंट फ्रॉम रिजल्ट इज सो इम्पॉर्टेंट इफ यू वांट टू मेक आवर लाइफ पीसफुल and God conscious, and even for getting liberation in this world. It is important. So Arjuna is told here, because Krishna is seeing Arjuna is mostly worried about the sin. पाप से तुम डरे हुए हो, रिजल्ट का क्या मतलब. अर्जुना को ठीक है अटैचमेंट नहीं है, लेकिन भगवान बोल रहे हैं कि अर्जुना, if your consciousness is equipoised just for the sake of fighting, you are fighting. You need not worry about any reactions only, because you are beyond that. Your purpose is beyond. So important actually. So now somebody can say, प्रभु जी क्या मतलब कोई व्यक्ति अगर आसक्त है if somebody is attached to result, can he work like this with such goal? So Krishna is giving us such a PhD knowledge. Can Krishna say to a Tom Dick Harry कि you work without any expectation of victory or loss or gain, whatever, you just work for the sake of working? It's possible. That's why it's given in Bhagavad Gita. It's possible for anyone. But he just focus on the instruction of his guru. Therefore, ahead sloka is going to come, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. If somebody accepts a guru and just focuses, my guru has said I have to do this work, even though he's not at that level, but he just follows the order of guru as a life and soul, he can achieve this liberation. It is possible. So Krishna is saying, don't fight for the sake of some good result. So just till 31 से 38 तक बताया भगवान ने, आप किस लिए लड़ाई करो? नेम फेम मेंटेन करेंगे, किंगडम होगा, स्वर्ग में चले जाओगे, हार गए तो ये सब चीजें बताया. यहाँ पे तुरंत काट दिया भगवान ने, बोला कि नहीं नहीं अर्जुना, you just fight for the sake of fighting. Don't worry about all such things. Yes. There is no consideration of happiness and profit or loss, victory or defeat in the activities of Krishna consciousness. That everything should be performed for the sake of Krishna is transcendental consciousness. So there is no reaction to material activities. He who acts for his own sense gratification, either in goodness or passion, is subject to the reaction, good or bad. But one who has completely surrendered himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness, Krishna consciousness is no longer obliged to anyone, nor he is a debtor to anyone. देवर्षि भूताप्त नृणाम पितृणाम ना किंकरो नायम ऋणी च राजन सर्वात्मना यः शरणम शरण्यम गतो मुकुंदम परिहर्त कर्तुम. This is the thing. So nobody, no debt is there. Yes. In this, in all ways, your fighting is an act of dharma. If you fear that it will produce sin, I have shown you that it will not be cause of sin, therefore fight. Now acharyas, they say, being equal in happiness and distress which is caused by gain and loss, such as gain and loss of kingdom, which are in turn caused by victory and defeat, will not incur sin. It will also be stated. Okay. Just see, in 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this sloka comes, Padma Patra Imambasa. Means a lotus coming out from the mud, and then still the lotus petals is not affected by the mud because it has a waxy cover. So because of waxy cover, whatever water particles they come on the lotus petal, they fall down. So here it's mentioned, Krishna is mentioning, if somebody is living in this world, the dirty world, contaminated world, but he can live like a lotus, not becoming affected by the dirt and contamination. So here mentioned, Lipete nasa papena padma patra ivambasa. One is not touched by sin as a lotus leaf is not touched by water. So when it happens, when somebody does duty just out of sake of duty, just either he wants to please Lord by doing his duty, or just the Vedic literature, what means the Guru has said, or the Vedas says you just fight. If somebody wants to please the Lord by doing your duty, then it's a devotional service हो गया. अभी मान लो भगवान को प्रसन्न नहीं करना, just as sake of duty also he is doing, he will get liberation, no issue, just by doing his duty, because he is not attached to the result. So that is why this path is an auspicious path. While karma kanda path, where somebody wants some result from even doing some religious activity, so that part is inauspicious path. See, karma kanda is just to make us believe in religion, make us believe in transcendence. So they are giving some, you can say, beginning for a animalistic human being to come to the religious path. Karma kanda is the beginning, but karma kanda is not the end. He has to go ahead actually. Like when you go, like we went to Mathura for doing Vrindavan Parikrama. So it starts from Mathura. So then when you go to Mathura, you want to dip into what you call Vishram Ghat. Vishram Ghat, you want to dip there. So then so many Brahmanas there comes. Oh, Swami, paise nikalo. And then they will catch you. They will not leave you. And then you start bathing. Again they will be, while you are bathing, they start chanting mantra. Okay, putram dehi, bharya dehi, dhanam dehi, all these they start chanting the mantra. Means they are invoking auspiciousness. But these brahmanas are karmakandi brahmanas. But here it's clearly mentioned actually, and most of the people in this world live, because Veda is also 90% karmakand only. So they don't focus on working for the sake of duty. They just focus on working to enjoy the result. Why I am religious? Because I want some benefit. From religion, I want some benefit. So the whole consciousness in the world is like that. Therefore, this is called pravritti marg. Nivritti marg means renunciation. So giving up the result. One is simply working for the sake of working. Surely, if one who has come to path of religion, he cannot give up everything so easily. He will take some time, and so the karma kanda slowly brings him to the path of jnana kanda, and then karma yoga, all other things. So here it's mentioned, but here we are learning literature of nivritti marg. So Bhagavad Gita basically teaches, the Bhagavad Gita teaching begins with the niskam karma yoga. It does not touches karma kanda or jnana kanda. वो touch ही नहीं करते Bhagavad Gita. Like Bhagavatam does not touch dharma artha काम मोक्ष. Bhagavatam directly touches pure devotion service. Bhagavad Gita is touching some mixing of, say, niskam karma yoga is not a pure bhakti. It's a mixing with karma. But from here one should begin working in the world. So Bhagavad Gita is lower than Bhagavatam. But Bhagavatam takes you directly from pure devotion service. Dharmartha to hai hi nahi. And Krishna is taking the yoga system, but is beginning with niskam karma yoga and mixing bhakti, because without bhakti none of the yoga can be successful. Karma cannot be successful. You have to mix bhakti in karma, then karma, it becomes karma yoga, becomes successful. You have to mix bhakti in jnana, then it becomes jnana yoga, it becomes successful. Means you will not get the result of jnana without mixing bhakti. Bhakti is like, you can say, tulsi. Offering बिना तुलसी का नहीं होगा, तुलसी डालना ही पड़ेगा, भगवान लेंगे नहीं उसको. So either karma path, jnana path and yoga path, you have to mix bhakti. That's why that becomes mixed bhakti. उसमें डालना ही पड़ेगा, वो प्रोसेस ही ऐसा है वेदों का. Now even if you see karma kand, the mantra of Narayan mantra is there, Bija mantra, like the Om also. Om is a impersonal Brahman, so that is also mentioning to the Supreme Lord. So without invoking the presence of the Lord or without worshipping the Lord Narayan Vishnu, any path cannot be successful. मोघ आशा मोघ कर्माणो मोघ ज्ञान विचेतसः, भगवान बोलते हैं वहां पे आपका कर्म खत्म हो जाएगा. मोघ का मीन्स होपलेस in karma, hopeless in jnana, hopeless in yoga. Unless bhakti is not there with that, it's hopeless. No result will come. So this is very clear. Now Krishna is starting another thing. एषा ते अभिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर योगे तो इमाम शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्म बंधम प्रहास्यसि. Yes.
Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works.
So in 11 to 30 verse, Krishna taught about jnana or knowledge. Now in 31 to 37, Krishna taught about karma, why you should fight inspired by karma, the result of karma. And now from here onwards, means 38 to 53, he is talking about niskam karma yoga, where he will be teaching working without fruitive result. Working has to be there, but without fruitive result. Means don't become attached to the result. Work, but without attachment to result. He is teaching this thing. That is called niskam karma yoga. Working without fruitive result. तो भगवान ने ज्ञान बता दिया, कर्म बता दिया. अब दोनों को जोड़ देंगे भगवान. ज्ञान और कर्म को जोड़ देंगे. तो जोड़ेंगे मतलब क्या हो गया? जुड़ गया इसका मतलब then you are working with knowledge, not becoming attached to result. So this is important. When we act in such a knowledge, you can become free from the bondage of work. So Niskam Karma Yoga, without knowledge it cannot stay, na? Because how one can suppress oneself from result? One has to enjoy the result. So therefore that knowledge has to be there. Why I should not be enjoying, for whom it is meant, what is my goal of working, all those things. So that has to be clear. According to Nirukti, the Vedic dictionary, the Sankhya means which describes the things in detail. So Sankhya means which describes it. Prabhupada also Sankhya means counting. Sankhya comes from Sankhya means number. So when you count, when you do analysis of anything, like how many we make some laddus. So mother says to बच्चे को लड्डू गिनो कितना है, भाइयों को मिलना चाहिए, सबको मिलना चाहिए, लड्डू गिनो. तो they start counting the laddus. 30 laddus, 6 people means each will get 5 laddus. So like that. So Sankhya means to do analysis in this way. How this world has been made, 24 elements. Then you count it. These 24 elements are there. So here it's mentioned, which describes the things in detail. That is called Sankhya. The yoga involves controlling the senses. Arjuna's proposal not to fight was based on sense gratification, forgetting his prime duty. He wanted to cease fighting because he thought that by not killing his relatives and kinsmen, he would be happier than by enjoying the kingdom after conquering the cousin. In both the ways, the basic principle were sense gratification. या तो लड़ाई छोड़ो या लड़ाई जीतो, दोनों समय में क्या है, सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन है. So if he does not fight means what? He is not following his duty. If he fights means and he wins the war, then he will enjoy. So like that, both way he is doing sense gratification actually. ठीक है. Now Prabhupada here mentions, you just see here, an analytical study of soul and the body has been very graphically explained by Lord Krishna, and this descriptive knowledge of soul and the body from different angles of vision have been described here as Sankhya in terms of Nirukti dictionary. The Sankhya has nothing to do with the Kapila, with the Sankhya philosophy of atheistic Kapila. Long before the impostor Kapila Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy was expounded in the Srimad Bhagavatam by the true Lord Kapila, the incarnation of Lord, and who explained it to his mother Devahuti. It is clearly explained by him that the Purusha or the Supreme Lord is active and he creates by looking over the Prakriti. This is accepted in the Vedas and in Gita. The description in the Vedas indicates that the Lord glanced over the Prakriti or nature and impregnated it with atomic individual souls. All these individuals are working in the material world for sense gratification, and under the spell of material energy, they are thinking of being enjoyers. This mentality is dragged to the last point of liberation when the living entity wants to become one with the Lord. This is the last snare of Maya or sense gratification illusion, and it is the only after many bursts of such sense gratificatory activities that a soul surrenders unto the Vasudeva. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabh. So see, what is atheistic Sankhya? Atheistic Sankhya means you don't consider the Lord. 24 elements, 5 karmendriya. 5 karmendriya. So what are the karmendriyas? The karmendriya, 2 hands, hand, leg, voice, anus, rectum. 5 Gyanendriya. What are the Gyanendriyas? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. 5 Gyanendriya. 5 Panchamahabhut. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. 5 हो गए, 15 हो गए. Then 5 sense objects. What are 5 sense objects? Shabda, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha. These are 5 sense objects. 20 हो गया. Then mind, intelligence, ego, 23, and Pradhan or Mahatattva, you can say, 24 elements. In these 24 elements you will not find a soul. It means 24 elements is matter only. 25th element is soul. 26th element is super soul. So main Sankhya philosophy deals about the 26th element. An atheistic Sankhya philosophy will only deal about 24 elements. वो बोलेगा भैया सुपर सोल है ही नहीं. So simply talking about the matter to be the cause of itself is a wrong philosophy. It's not right. Matter अपने को बना नहीं सकता खुद ही. Matter को बनाने के लिए भगवान आए. Means Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Life comes from life and even matter comes from life. Matter भी कहाँ से आता है? भगवान से आता है. So some real Sankhya philosophy is saying that Lord only impregnated the mother material nature, and then all living entity went inside her, and then she started making different false ego, mind, then devatas. So this comes in the third canto actually. So all vayu, pran, intelligence, pranas, and devatas, then senses, then panchamahabhut, all these things start coming out. So when it happens after Lord impregnated material nature. So Lord, when glances on material nature, two things happen. One thing, living entity goes inside the womb of Tasam Brahma Mahadionir Aham Bija Pradapita. I am the father, and Brahma Mahadionir, this Brahma Yonir of Maya, I am impregnating that. So Lord impregnates two things, Jivas and Kala. Time also goes inside Maya, and this Kala only activates three modes of material nature. And Jivas are there just to take their bodies and enjoy in this world. But Kal disturbs the equilibrium of passion, ignorance and goodness. उसके equilibrium को काल डिस्टर्ब कर देता है. देखो अभी काल के कारण नहीं होता. जैसे सुबह सुबह कौन सा होता है गुडनेस, मोड ऑफ गुडनेस होता है. दोपहर को कौन सा होता है, मोड ऑफ पैशन आ जाता है. तो काल के कारण से गुणों को वो मिल रहा है, प्रायोरिटीज मिल रहा है. काल हैज डिसाइडेड विच गुना विल कम नाउ विच गुना विल कम. नाइट में मोड ऑफ इग्नोरेंस चालू हो जाता है. So then Kal disturbs this equilibrium of three gunas, and so then they start combining with each other and they start making false ego. Then false ego बाद में senses बनाता है, ये सब बनाते हैं. तो whole material world is nothing but combination of three modes only. Three modes से बने हुए हैं और उसमें काल ने agitation किया है. Time has agitated the three modes. And these 24 elements are nothing but that only. Three modes ही है उसमें, बस और कुछ नहीं है. So the imposter Sankhya or the person, he only taught that everything is coming from matter only. But Prabhupada is saying His Supreme Lord is doing that. There is a Purusha involved in making this whole creation. Not only Prakriti. Prakriti cannot do by itself. So it's mentioned here. So that's why Prabhupada mentioned that Jivas are there, and first he impregnated and then the Jivas are there to take the bodies and enjoy in this world. So this is the right understanding of Sankhya. So Arjuna had already accepted Krishna as his spiritual master by surrendering himself unto him. Consequently, Krishna will now tell him about the working process in Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga is clearly explained in same thing what I mentioned, 10.10. As being the direct communion with the Lord, which is sitting as a Paramatma in everyone's heart. But such communion does not take place without devotional service. How can you connect with the Lord without devotion? It's not possible. And when Karma Yoga is there, means when Karma Yoga is said to be Buddhi Yoga, it means the Lord is expecting you to connect to me. Okay. One who is therefore situated in devotional or transcendental loving service to the Lord, or in other words in Krishna consciousness, attains to this Buddhi Yoga stage by the special grace of the Lord. The Lord says therefore that only to those who are always engaged in devotional service out of transcendental love does he award the pure knowledge of devotion in love. Same. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purukam. Same Prabhupada is saying. Tesam satata yuktanam. One who is constantly engaged. Bhajatam priti purokam. One who is doing bhajan of me. Priti purokam means with love. Then what happens? Dadami buddhi yogam tom. I give him buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga means pure devotional service. So here Prabhupada is translating the same thing here. In that way the devotee can reach him easily in the ever blissful kingdom of God. So devotion is not dependent upon even knowledge. Like a devotee, he has a spiritual master, but a spiritual master is also guiding him, telling him many things, but he's not able to understand. But that devotee is trying to serve Lord with love, whatever love he has. So Prabhupada says this is one qualification. If you do any service with love, that is qualification, and Krishna will guide you to come back to him. Even though he is not able to understand scriptures or the direction of his spiritual master, if he just understand this much only, I am servant of Krishna, I have to serve him with love, and he does any duty with love for Krishna, Krishna will guide him to back to Godhead. So that's why it's mentioned the Buddhi Yoga is mainly it is a devotional service. And Krishna gives the knowledge to that person. Even though he is not getting benefited from a spiritual master, Krishna will give that knowledge. Thus, Buddhi Yoga mentioned in this verse in this verse is the devotional service of the Lord. The word Sankhya mentioned here in nothing to do with the atheistic Sankhya. The real Sankhya described by the Lord Kapila in Bhagavatam. Here the Sankhya means analytical description of the body and the soul. Lord Krishna made an analytical description of the soul just to bring Arjuna to the point of Buddhi Yoga. Therefore, Lord Krishna Sankhya and Lord Kapila Sankhya is described in the Bhagavatam as one and the same. They are Bhakti Yoga. So this sloka is going to come ahead. Sankhya Yogo Prathak Bala Pravadanti Na Pandita. See, if you see the Krishna Sankhya, Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are not this body or soul. So even if you kill their bodies, you are not going to harm them. उनका bodies खत्म हो रहा है, and their soul will uplift to the higher destination. So better do your duty. Okay, Krishna is telling about Sankhya, about the soul. Now, this Sankhya is not finished here. Therefore, Prabhupada is mentioning, ultimately Sankhya is brought ahead to take up to Bhakti here in this section. इसका मतलब भगवान भी कंप्लीट कर रहे हैं अपने को, केवल यही नहीं बता रहे कि जस्ट ड्यूटी करो because you are a soul you just do the things. No, he's completing it. That real Sankhya means devotional service. Here it's mentioned. So Krishna is, if somebody understands Sankhya Yoga is different from Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, he is a Prithak Bala. वो बच्चा है, उसको कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. So one should not understand Sankhya separate from Bhakti. So Sankhya in future it will be told like from beginning we know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. We have to serve him. That is devotional service. In Sankhya what happens? You begin with the counting the elements of the world and then you ultimately reach to the devotional service only. So it takes you indirectly and Bhakti takes you directly. इतना ही अंतर है बस. बट गोल दोनों का सेम है. एक डायरेक्ट लेके जाता है कि इनडायरेक्ट लेके जाता है. बस यही है. सब कुछ गिन के ये बताना कि भगवान सबसे श्रेष्ठ है, ये हो गया सांख्य. भक्ति में क्या है? भगवान ही श्रेष्ठ है, उनकी सेवा करते रहो, ये भक्ति है. बस इतना ही अंतर है. Okay, one should therefore understand that Buddhi Yoga means to work in Krishna consciousness in the full bliss and knowledge of the devotional service. One who works for satisfaction of Lord only, however difficult such work may be, is working under the principle of Buddhi Yoga and finds himself always in transcendental bliss. So he will always be in transcendental bliss. There is a much difference between the work in Krishna consciousness or work for fruitive results, especially in the matter of sense gratification for achieving result in the terms of family or material happiness. Buddhi Yoga is therefore the transcendental quality of the work that we perform. So Buddhi Yoga is transcendental and fruitive work even for matter of the family or matter of the country or matter of for oneself. It is a work of sense gratification. So there is a difference actually. It looks the same, but one is offering the result to the Lord. One is also doing the duty in consciousness of Krishna. One is offering the result to the Lord. But in other sense, only sense gratification is there. नेहा विक्रमणा सोस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear.
Which path? Now here, ये देखो ये क्या आ रहा है? बुद्धि योग. सांख्ये बुद्धि योगे. Okay, it is coming. Sankhye buddhi yoge. So now Krishna in this section what he is going to tell, कि earlier he has spoken Sankhya Now he is going to speak about Buddhi Yoga. So the first shloka which he speaks in Buddhi Yoga is this one. So Acharya says this first shloka is Buddhi Yoga means Bhakti Yoga. इसको निष्काम कर्म मत मानना. Don't understand it's a निष्काम कर्म योग. It's a Buddhi Yoga, perfect Buddhi Yoga. He says, Acharya, they say down they will say. So bhakti, whatever amount of bhakti you perform, it continues next life. उसके बाद, if you perform 50%, next life you will start from 51%. So there is no diminution, there is no loss, and little advancement on this path will save us from greatest danger means fear of losing human form. Human form को अगर खो दिया तो फिर evolutionary process में आना पड़ता है फिर. So that takes many lives. So if somebody does bhakti and because of certain reason he falls down, he has a chance that he will again get human form and he can continue bhakti. But in other process there is no guarantee that we will get that human form. This is one thing. Okay. So Prabhupada says, example, same thing what we discussed here. Activity in Krishna consciousness or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of the sense gratification is the highest transcendental quality of work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can a small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on material plane has to be completed, otherwise the whole attempt becomes a failure. So when Karma Yoga, there's a Karma Yoga means there can be two understanding of Karma Yoga. If somebody is Brahmavadi, he will offer his karma to Brahman. One who is a devotee, he will offer his karma result to Krishna. Okay. So here it is mentioned that any work which is begun on this material plane, if it is not completed, it is failure. So वो तो कर्म योग छोड़ ही दो. जो भी material activity कर रहा है, sinful activity or whimsical activity, for him there will be no success in next life, because whatever activity he is doing not without any faith in the scriptures, and so the work, the result will be lost. Like somebody does IIT in this life, next life he has to again do. He cannot begin from ahead. No, he has to begin from ABCD. So any karma, it breaks in this world. But if you do karma yoga, so niskam karma yoga or bhakti yoga, for both of these processes it is applied. Acharya says both, दोनों के लिए लग जाएगा. कारण क्या है? दोनों में भक्ति है. दोनों में भक्ति होने के कारण से that work continues in next life also. If somebody is niskam karma yogi and he has done to certain extent, next life he will again become niskam karma yogi and he will continue from ahead. But if somebody is a karmi भी हटाओ, कर्मी ले लो, चलो कर्मी ले लो. Somebody is a Vedic follower, only karmi, no karma yogi, then his benefits will be lost at the death, and next life he has to begin again from ABCD. So that is, and it's not guaranteed that he will get human form. But in Buddhi Yoga or Niskam Karma Yoga, if somebody is performing, and even if he loses his life, he will again get human form. This is mentioned according to this verse. So Ajamila example is given. Ajamila performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100%. So Ajamila, before taking to bhakti process, or he was saved by Vishnu Duta, he was a Brahmana, very pure Brahman. So that time also he was remembering, because any Brahmanical families, they have some Saligram Sila for worship, and then the chant, the mantra also they follow. And Ajamila is mentioned, if you read the 6th canto, Ajamila's qualities appear like a pure devotee. He was not envious of any living entity. If you read those qualities of Ajamila, amazing qualities Ajamila had. But immediately he fell down because of wrong association. So he must have done some kind of bhakti, and that some kind of bhakti helped him ahead to go more and more. Means we have also heard that some saintly person said to his wife, prostitute wife, while she was pregnant, and some saintly person say, "Ki Mata, you just keep your son name Narayan." And then she kept she said, okay, Swamiji will keep our son's name Narayan. And then she kept the name Narayan. And because of the name Narayan, he got delivered. सो हाउ दिस पायटी केम टू हिज लाइफ, श्योरली बिकॉज ऑफ संत कृपा एक चीज़ है, बट दूसरा ये भी है कि अजामिल ने पहले कुछ तो किया है भक्ति, उसके कारण से उसको ये ऐसा चीज़ मिला। तो ही प्रभुपाद यहाँ बोल रहे हैं कि उसने कुछ तो किया है, इसके कारण से आगे फायदा हुआ। तो अजामिला surely did not lose human form, in one life only he went ahead, but somebody if loses human form and next life he will be again given chance for, now when you somebody can't, but प्रभु जी भरत महाराज का क्या है, भरत महाराज को डियर का बॉडी मिला। See, you will find Bharat Maharaj case is very special case, it is ordained by the Lord, actually it's a Lord's will, and Bharat Maharaj did not lose the consciousness of a Bharat, he remained Bharat Maharaj even in the body of a deer, that is even more important। बॉडी तो मिल गया, कॉन्शियसनेस भी है, वो तो बहुत अच्छा है। कभी कभी क्या होता है, कॉन्शियसनेस थोड़ा टाइम लगता है आने में, लाइक सम लाइक मेनी टाइम डिवोटीज दे हैव एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ डिवोटी चिल्ड्रन, सो इन चाइल्डहुड दे मे वेरी मच लाइक नॉटी and later they may become more sober, so it means it took some amount of time for them to become conscious, but Bharat Maharaj was conscious from beginning only in the body of deer, he did not lose consciousness, so that is very special case, so that has to be given regard. Now somebody commits sinful activity in Vrindavan, he becomes hog, dog, all these things. Prabhupada says anybody who is doing yogi or devotee who commits breaking four regulative principles in Vrindavan, then he becomes hog, dog in Vrindavan. But then Prabhupada says Krishna gives them that body so that they will not commit offense once again, and so next life after animal body they will directly go back to Godhead. So it means even one loss only ना, एक ही तो जन्म गया ना, उसके बाद तो चला गया भगवान के धाम, तो बेनिफिट है। चाहे अगर कुछ मिल भी गया जानवर का शरीर, उसके बाद भी उसका हो जाएगा। लाइक जड़ भरत, he came from deer body, he got जड़ भरत body, human body. So there can be breakage, but human form is there, or direct going back to God is also there. So now here is mentioned त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं चरणाम्बुजां हरेर् भजन्न पक्को अथ पतेत् ततो यदि यत्र क्वा वा भद्रमबुधमुष्टिकिं को वार्थ आप्तो अभजतां स्वधर्मतः. This shloka is very nice shloka. If somebody is very devotedly serving his swadharma, but he has no attraction toward devotional service, what is the use of such a certain person? He is a useless person. But if somebody gives up his occupational duties, swadharma, and out of sentiment surrenders to Lord Hari, sentiment में भी surrender कर दिया, that person has gained a lot. Even though he is a pagal, he is not doing his occupational duty, no problem, but he has surrendered to Mukunda one time only, no issue. एक बार भी इसलिए विभीषण को भगवान राम बोलते हैं, एक बार भी कोई मेरे को बोल दे कि मैं आपका दास हूँ भगवान, मैं आपको सरेंडर कर रहा हूँ, उस दिन से मैं उसको प्रोटेक्शन देना चालू कर दूंगा। तो कोई जन्म से भी अगर वो अपने सिविलाइज्ड ह्यूमन ड्यूटी कर रहा है, उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है अगर वो मुकुंद के चरण में उसके प्रति भक्ति नहीं है उसके हृदय में। लेकिन कोई व्यक्ति एकदम पागल है, निठल्ला है, कोई काम नहीं करता है, बट भगवान के मंदिर में जाके फूल ऑफर करके आता है, इतना भी समझ है कि भगवान ने साधु संतों से सुना है उसने कि भगवान को कुछ ऑफर कर देना चाहिए, भगवान से थोड़ा प्रेम करना चाहिए। प्रभुपाद बोलते हैं ये हिप्पी जाके टॉयलेट में टिश्यू पेपर रखता है। प्रभुपाद क्या बोले उस समय लेक्चर में कि देखो everybody likes to serve, now this person is coming and keeping tissue paper in toilet, he wants to serve Krishna. So the service to Krishna is so highly you can say glorified, and this is spoken by Narad Muni. Surely it does not mean to say that one should give up one's swadharma and start doing sentimental this thing. It is not for immediately applying it, but even if it is like that, one should glorify that person more than one person who is doing swadharma. And that's why Indian many times they do not take to bhakti so easily, and you find in beginning Americans they took to bhakti. Why? Because they surrendered to Prabhupada, they surrendered to the process he gave, and Indians they thought no, we are nicely settled cultural people, so called cultural people, and will not take to bhakti, we know bhakti, हमें पता है भक्ति क्या होता है, we have to do our works properly, then time comes, then हम करेंगे बाद में। ऐसा सोच के लोग काम करते इंडिया में, और वो टाइम आता नहीं है बाद में कभी भी। फॉरेनर्स के पास कोई ड्यूटी नहीं था, माँ बाप ही नहीं पता है कौन है, पापा ने छोड़ दिया, माँ ने छोड़ दिया, वो घूम रहा है ऐसे ही, उसको प्रभुपाद ने पकड़ लिया, आ जाओ इधर, भगवान को दंडवत करो, प्रणत किया भगवान को, चलो भगवान को फूल ऑफर करो, माला जपो, उसने माला पकड़ लिया, जपना चालू कर दिया, फायदा हो गया उसको. So one thing is there, surely many hippies they fell down also because of not having a strong culture. They could not maintain the Krishna consciousness fire. But because they surrender to the Lord, Lord will again bring them back in next life. They will get human form and they'll practice once again. So what is mentioned here, at least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured brahmana or a rich aristocratic. Sutinam samitam gehe yogo bhrashto vijayate. So it is like that. So it also applies for Niskam Karma Yoga. See, when Karma Yoga began and it stopped, there is both destruction of fruits of Karma Yoga and sinful reaction for performer, for Mimansaka. So this Karma Yoga, basically when you are asking for result, you are doing yoga, but you are very much attached to the result. So when you are attached to the result, and when we die, the work which is not completed, it becomes it destroyed, result is destroyed, and it also becomes sinful because you have not completed the work. But when it comes to Niskam Karma Yoga, it is allowed, it is there. One cannot say, however, Niskam Karma, even by being offered to the Lord, is beyond the. Okay, this is another thing. For Niskam Karma Yoga, it is allowed that it will continue next life. But for Karma Yoga, where the asakti to result is there, this will not. And also there are certain things, I will not get confused in this. हम आगे चलते हैं. इसमें थोड़ा 11th canto का mention है. व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर एकेह कुरु नंदना बहुशाखा है अनंतश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनाम.
Those who are in this path, resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched.
This is that verse which inspired Srila Prabhupada to surrender to his Guru Maharaj instructions. Prabhupada writes many places. Here in this purport, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, what he writes here. One should accept the instruction of bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur instructs us in his famous prayers, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasadam. The whole process. Okay, so this is at Prabhupada, basically he read this verse here, the commentary here in this verse of Bhagavad Gita, that he says that take the mission, take the words of a spiritual master as one's life and soul, mission of life, like that. So what is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi? Vyavasaya means intelligence is always focused on discrimination. What is good for me, what is not good for me. Yes. So in Vyavasaya also, in business also, one person always keeps thinking how I can increase more money. So for a spiritualist, what is a Vyavasaya? How he can free himself from bondage of karma, bondage of attachment to this world. How he can free himself. So for that he needs Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. Means always alert intelligence, Krishna conscious intelligence. Always he has to, like for Jnani, what is their intelligence? Neti. This is not spiritual, this is not spiritual, this is not spiritual, this is material, this is material. So then Nitya Anitya Abhed, Nitya Anitya Bhed Buddhi. क्या नित्य है क्या अनित्य है उसकी भेद करने की बुद्धि रहती है, ये किसके पास रहती है? ज्ञानी के पास. उसी तरीके से भक्तों के में क्या बुद्धि होनी चाहिए कि हाउ आई कैन सर्व कृष्णा इन दिस सिचुएशन, हाउ आई कैन सर्व कृष्णा. इफ दिस व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धि रिमेन्स विद हिम, then he can get out of this world. So this is always important. So intelligence has to be surcharged with this kind of understanding. श्रद्धा शब्द विश्वास कहे सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्ण भक्ति कहले सर्व कर्म कृत है. So first of all, this thing is important. कि no other activity is more qualified or important than Krishna consciousness. I may do or not, that is separate thing, but no other activity is most important or more important than Krishna consciousness. ये पहला श्रद्धा. कोई किसी को कुछ श्राद्ध करना है, धार्मिक एक्टिविटी करना है, कुछ भी करना है, वो सभी टेम्पररी है, वो सभी भी सेकेंडरी है. ऑक्यूपेशनल ड्यूटी करना है, वो भी सेकेंडरी है. वर्णाश्रम करना, वो भी सेकेंडरी है. व्हाट इज प्राइमरी? प्राइमरी इज द कृष्णा कॉन्शियस एक्टिविटी. व्हाट इज कृष्णा कॉन्शियस एक्टिविटी? इज अ डायरेक्ट नौ विधा भक्ति, डिवोशनल सर्विस under the guidance of a spiritual master, or the instructions given by spiritual master, which is coming down here. So this is a Krishna conscious activity. So that is a supreme most activity. So when somebody has this understanding कि भाई ये सबसे supreme है, सबसे पहले हमें faith नहीं lose करना है. Many times people lose faith only, and then they start mixing their own conditioning with the bhakti. ऐसा नहीं होता है. Whether we do or not, whether we follow four regulative principles or not, but we should have faith first with the knowledge. कि knowledge पर हमें clear होना चाहिए कि क्या चीज सही है, क्या गलत है. So this is very clear here. So when one is engaged in duty of Krishna conscious, he need not act in relationship to the material world with obligation to family, traditions, humanity, and or nationality. Sometimes people ask, shall we follow family tradition or not? करना है क्या family demigod worship करना है क्या? Clearly लिखा है यहाँ पे. अगर व्यवसायित्मिका बुद्धि चाहिए, अगर श्रद्धा शब्द विश्वास कहे, आपके डेमीगॉड, आपके कुल देवता का सभी प्रसन्न हो जाएंगे अगर आप कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस करोगे तो. Because now all of devotees you are here in Bhakti Shastri, this has to be openly spoken. So family traditions are only there for those people who do not know about religion. उनको just beginning, उनको भक्ति नहीं, धर्म के बारे में बताने के लिए फैमिली ट्रेडिशंस रहते हैं कि ये धर्म है, आप ये काम करो, आप वो काम करो. Obligation to family traditions. Even to humanity, तो humanity like the way of dealing with the humans, ऐसे बात करना, वैसे बात की, ये भी सेकेंडरी है एक्चुअली. नेशनैलिटी, देश की भक्ति, वो भी सेकेंडरी है. कृष्ण भक्ति कैले सर्व कर्म कृत है, ये इतना विश्वास बहुत मुश्किल है, लेकिन ये सत्य है कि जिसके अंदर ये विश्वास है उससे विश्वास लेना चाहिए कि कृष्ण भक्ति ही सब कुछ है, उससे सभी कर्म हमारे कंप्लीट हो जाते हैं, कुछ बचता नहीं है. फ्रूटिव एक्टिविटीज आर द एंगेजमेंट्स ऑफ वंस रिएक्शंस फ्रॉम द पास्ट. दिस इज अनदर थिंग Prabhupada adds, very nice, that why we are engaged in certain activity as a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, because we have done some fruitive activity in previous life. इसलिए जन्म मिला है, शरीर मिला है, उस शरीर के हिसाब से मुझे कर्म करने पड़ रहे हैं इस संसार में. I have to do those activity. So my karma is making me work in this world. Yes. So therefore, Prabhupada mentioning all these family traditions, these are the because of our being born in certain family, and we have got those traditions. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need no longer endeavor for good result in his activity. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, for they are no longer subject to dualities like good or bad. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of the material conception of life. So then somebody can ask, अरे if I give a family tradition, हमारे सास हमें झगड़ा करेंगे, या हमारे दादाजी झगड़ा करेंगे, पापा झगड़ा करेंगे. So then what is the solution? Let it do. We should do those activity but have no faith. तरीका क्या है उसका करने का? करो एक्टिविटी, बस उसमें श्रद्धा मत रखो. बस श्रद्धा मत रखो, इसका मतलब कि ये मुझसे इससे मुझे कुछ फायदा होने वाला है, ये मत रखो श्रद्धा. डू दोज एक्टिविटी, नो इशू. कृष्णा डिवोटीज आर वेरी चतुर. जय कृष्ण भजे सही बड़ा चतुर. ही इज डूइंग ऑल एक्टिविटी बट नो श्रद्धा. यस यस, आई एम डूइंग अगरबत्ती, ओके आई एम डूइंग ऑल दिस थिंग, ये भी कर रहे हैं, लेकिन श्रद्धा कृष्ण में है केवल. ये है तरीका करने का, इससे बाहर के लोग भी नहीं बोलेंगे. एंड दिस इज द राइट प्रोसेस. So therefore our Shraddha should be towards Krishna. And that's why we don't worship demigods. Another thing is, okay, can somebody worship demigod and Krishna also together? We have to be very much careful. If your worship of demigods bears some very attractive result for you in your life, like good health and good money, so then that can be problem. Tomorrow our faith may get distracted. So therefore Acharya specifically says ये demigod worship को छोड़ना है बाबा, क्योंकि इससे कभी कभी वो पावर मिल जाता है और उसके कारण हमारा श्रद्धा बिगड़ सकता है. डॉक्टर के पास जा सकते हो, आप कारपेंटर के पास भी जा सकते हो, लेकिन डेमी गॉड के पास जाने के लिए मना किया है शास्त्रों में, क्योंकि बिकॉज दे कैन गिव यू सम पावर विच कैन डिस्ट्रैक्ट योर फेथ. Yes, the Shastra clearly mentions therefore. So, but therefore I said, even if you are worshipping demigod, worship because of certain tradition without faith. Faithless worship. So that is there. Huh? वासुदेव सर्वमिति स महात्मा सुदुर्लभ. वासुदेव सब कुछ है. अगर हम गणेश को भी वर्शिप कर रहे हैं, खास करके महाराष्ट्र में गणेश लवर बहुत ज़्यादा है. विघ्न विनाशक गणेश, गणेश जी को रिप्लेस करके नरसिंहदेव को रख लो, बस अच्छा है. कोई बोलता है प्रभु जी गणेश जी प्योर डिवोटी है. प्योर डिवोटी बाद में रहेंगे, पहले हमारे कृष्ण हैं. कृष्ण को पहले वर्शिप करना चालू करो. गणेश जी को साइड में रख दो, बोलो आप प्योर डिवोटी ही हो, हम आपको मानते हैं, अच्छी बात है, बट हम कृष्ण को वर्शिप करेंगे. अरे गोपियाँ तो विष्णु तक को वर्शिप नहीं करती है, उसको साइड कर देती है, और हम लोग गणेश को वर्शिप करते हैं. सोचो, हमको समझ ही नहीं है क्या विष्णु प्योर डिवोटी नहीं है, वो तो भगवान ही है, फिर भी नहीं करते. अभी बोलेगा प्रभु जी गोपियाँ कात्यायनी देवी की करती है. हर एक एग्जाम्पल नहीं ले सकते यहाँ पे. गोपियों का चेतना बहुत ऊंचा है. गोपियाँ कात्यायनी का क्यों वर्शिप करती है? सो दैट दे वांट कृष्णा एज हस्बैंड. सो देयर पर्पज इज नेवर डिफीटेड. आवर पर्पज में गेट डिफीटेड टुमारो इफ यू गेट सम material benefit from demigods. So this is there. So we have to understand Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurla. By watering to the root of plant, all the leaves, branches can get satisfied. So then he said, Prabhupada says that service to in Krishna consciousness is best practiced under the guidance of a spiritual master. Yeah, 1 minute. So then this verse comes, Yashi Prasadat Bhagavad Prasadam. Now Prabhupada writes, the whole process however depends on the perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body, not theoretically but practically, when there is no longer a chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities. One who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of fruitive acts. See, Prabhupada says, when one is situated in this knowledge of the Atma, and so he will not ask for any result or enjoyment from the result, then only he can follow this path actually, or he can have vyavasayatmika buddhi. He has to be convinced that I am not his body, I am a soul, I am serving Krishna, I am also soul, he is a Paramatma, I have no relationship with this body, I have no relationship with this world, no demigod, nothing. When he is convinced and he does not ask for the fruitive result, he can be in vyavasayatmika buddhi. Or more practical is to follow spiritual master. You go and ask spiritual master, Gurudev karna hai kya ye, in what consciousness I should do, then Gurudev will say in this consciousness. So then that will also save us. Rather than directly following Shastra, we can take middleman, we can follow Gurudev. Yes Prabhu, kya question hai?
Probably like a couple of points about this demigod worship. So when you said that you can go to carpenter, you can go to doctor, but not to demigod.
Correct.
Because they may disturb the faith. So Prabhuji, this is Krishna's telling for one who is practicing bhakti, like directly bhakti. As part of Varnashram system, what was there? First question. So in Varnashram system, is it recommended to follow demigod worship or not?
See, in our lineage, in Vaishnava lineage, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj said, Daiva Varnashrama. Follow Daiva Varnashrama means you replace all demigods with Krishna. You replace all demigods with Narsimha, with Vishnu. So therefore, our Gopal Bhatt Goswami, like he has written, or Sanatan Goswami, the Hari Bhakti Vilas and other scriptures. So they have mentioned some sanskaras, or many sanskaras, which are replacing demigods with Krishna's forms or Krishna's incarnation. So we cannot worship demigod. Very clear actually. The reason is same thing, because you can respect demigod. Worship मतलब you give your faith. आप उनको faith से worship कर रहे हो, है ना? Like here chastity is broken. So I will only worship Krishna. Bas, finish. But when it comes to carpenter, because we are not worshipping carpenter, we are just getting our work done. But demigod में ऐसा नहीं होता. You have to chant the mantra of demigod. You have to please him. Pleasing means what? Pleasing means you have to sacrifice something, and you have to start believing on his powers, how many powers he has, then his opulence, his beauty, everything. and then he will also say, "Come to my loka." So then we will say, "Okay, let me go to your loka also." So then whole thing become disturbed actually. Because
Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. So, Prabhu, when let's say uh, in my family, like it's a part of culture that when we wake up, we do Karagade Vasate Lakshmi.
hmm.
Okay. Then we do Dharti Mata Ki Jai. After while taking bath, we chant Gange Cha Yamuna Chaiva. Okay. Then we do Surya Ko Namaskar and we offer water to Surya. So is it not worshipping demigod? We are doing it we are doing it because you said now worshipping is we give respect.
Hmm.
Worshipping means that उसका मंत्र पढ़ रहे हैं, उसको उसको ना मतलब प्लीज कर रहे हैं, उसका गुणगान कर रहे हैं, हाँ ये सब चीज हम कर रहे हैं. तो इज इट नॉट वर्शिपिंग demigod, or if
Okay.
not, then what it is? Or actually I don't understand that if doing this, ये करके क्या मेरा वैसे मैं बुद्धि खत्म हो रहा है क्या? क्या मैं मतलब चेस्टिटी खत्म हो रहा है क्या ये करके?
Okay. One thing we should know. When Bharat Maharaj was offering oblations to demigods in yagyas, he used to see Deva Narayana Angaja. They are all the different part and parcel of Narayan.
Correct,
If you are seeing Lakshmi as a consort of Lord Narayan,
correct.
ultimately you are offering prayers to Lord Narayan, then
Yes,
it is right. If you are saying offering to Suraj, you are seeing Surya Narayan, like when we do Gayatri. So our Gayatri also Om Bhurbhuvasva. This is there. But this Brahma Gayatri is not, we are not worshipping Surya, we are worshipping Krishna actually.
mm,
So you have to take that interpretation. You have to think that, because the faith is basically what? Whom you are addressing to through your prayers.
yeah,
Yes. So if the demigod is in between, but I am seeing across demigod, I am seeing Krishna.
yes, yes,
So that
yes,
way, even Purushokta prayer, even when you chant the Lakshmi prayer, even many yagyas devotees they do, there are also so many material benefits are spoken. लक्ष्मी करने से ये होगा वो होगा, लेकिन हमें क्या गोल हमारा क्या है कि हमें विष्णु, हमें ये सब नहीं चाहिए, हमें केवल कृष्ण की भक्ति चाहिए. So that's why
correct.
mentioning the, you don't have faith in those things, you just want Krishna. So even though your chanting is there, you only want Krishna bhakti. So even if you are
But
offering to Surya, if you are
yeah,
asking some material benefit, then it becomes impediment. Yes.
so let's say like Surya, we know that we worship Surya because Surya gives us arogya. Okay. तो हम लोग जब जल चढ़ाते हैं तो आदित्य नमस्कार वी चैंट द प्रेयर, उसका मीनिंग ही यही है. अभी मीनिंग नहीं आता तो बात अलग है, बट मीनिंग उसका यही है कि आलोक दीजिए हमको,
Hmm.
हमको अच्छा नेत्र ज्योति दीजिए.
हाँ.
तो हम लोग कृष्ण भक्ति करें, दैट वी ऐड फ्रॉम आवर साइड
Hmm.
कि हमको ये सब चीज दीजिए. तो वो क्या है मतलब कि हम क्योंकि कृष्णा के पास जाके जल चढ़ा दें, एक तो वो तरीका है. या फिर सूर्य के ट्रेडिशन में ही जल चढ़ा के and then we chant this prayer that na, okay, you are provider of arogya, you are provider of good
Ye-
eyesight,
ye-
and give us these things so that we continue our Krishna consciousness properly.
Yes, correct. See, there are two ways. One thing, when you go to any demigods directly, we directly ask demigods, please remove all the obstacles from devotional service, and we can practice. Like Lord Shiva is a deity of Ahankar. So we can say, because he worships Sankarshan, कि my dear Lord Shiva, I have a lot of Ahankar. Please reduce this Ahankara so that I can worship Lord. So we are taking
Correct,
help of that demigod to advance in bhakti. Now Surya is
correct.
giving Arogya.
Yeah,
So then we can ask Surya, कि yes, let this body remain fit so that I can serve Krishna.
yes, yes, yes. So
Okay?
that's correct only, na?
Yes, but while you are
हाँ,
praying to Surya, you should also understand you Surya, you Surya Dev, you are blessed by Lord Krishna to have this power. So you are
yes,
not disconnected from Krishna. So we have to see everything in that connection and our prayer also in connection. Then it is
yes,
okay.
yes.
No, not a issue. Not a issue for devotees.
Okay. Because philosophically we understand these things,
Hmm.
but it may not come as part of prayer. That
Yes.
na, you are
Yes.
servant of Krishna and you are empowered with this thing. We give them respect, we chant their prayers, and for arogya I'm not going to some other demigod, I'm going to Surya because Surya is especially empowered by Krishna for this thing.
Hmm.
So जो जिसका स्पेशलिटी उसके डिपार्टमेंट के पास जाके, जैसे वरुण देव है कि
हाँ.
अभी कोई खेती करता है तो वरुण देव के पास जाता है. हाँ, या इंद्र के पास में वो हवन करता है. He
Hmm.
will not do some Kali worship for farming.
Correct.
क्योंकि वो स्पेशलाइजेशन अलग है. तो स्पेशलाइजेशन वी अंडरस्टैंड कि वी डू दिस एज अ पार्ट ऑफ ड्यूटी एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. एट द सेम टाइम ही इज empowered by Krishna, so we give them respect in that way, and ultimately we are taking from Krishna only, so that's philosophically we know that. So is that like fine, like doing this?
Yes. Therefore, it's mentioned everything we do, it should also be guided by spiritual master. So if a spiritual master can see in our heart also, ki where is our faith. If a spiritual master is saying he's a fully dedicated soul, everything is nicely he is doing, so then he will say okay, no issue. He has no, उसको कोई इफेक्ट ही नहीं होता है, ये इसको वर्शिप करे उसका वर्शिप करे, उसको कोई इफेक्ट नहीं होता, because his dedication is very high. Therefore, Prabhupada mentions here कि it's not a process of bringing the knowledge in between and then trying to say that this is correct or what. But the thing is that Prabhupada mentions it's not theoretical but practical. One is not attached to the result. Even though he's doing his duty but not attached to the result, he's at level of the soul. So surely you should also understand that there is some attachment, there is some, because they are mentioned here, we are all engaged in such activity because of fruitive activity which we have done in previous life. So we have got that birth, we have got that lineage, that worship, prayer, all those things are there. And slowly our faith will transfer directly to the Krishna only. Like ahead it is going to come. Madhavan says, Namaste, संध्या वंदनम नमस्ते. अभी मेरे को गायत्री करने को मत बोलना, संध्या वंदन करने को मत बोलना, मेरा तुम में मन ही नहीं लगता है, मैं कृष्ण में इतना घूम चुका हूँ, मेरे को माफ कर दो, मैं आपका वर्शिप कर ही नहीं सकता हूँ. प्रेइंग माधवेंद्रपुरी, वंदे वंदे है, सबको नमस्कार कर देता हूँ लेकिन मुझसे अपना कार्य मत कराओ. हाईली एडवांस सोल.
Yeah, so that in that way he can give up like Gayatri also. But for our like as a Grasta life,
We cannot give. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So in Grasta life, one more thing is that when I'm teaching my children these things, I also have to do,
Correct.
and to make them be at least on Satogund platform. ठीक है, अभी वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग उनको नहीं आता है, वो यंग एज है या छोटे हैं जो भी है, that might gradually come. You will try to give it. That ultimately is coming from Krishna. But at least if they adopt to these qualities of
Correct.
habits of Satoguna, that will also help them to understand who Krishna is and read Bhagavad Gita.
Correct, correct. And there's no harm actually in connecting to Krishna. आप बोलो आदित्य है, आदित्य वर्णम तमसः परस्तात्. Krishna is like a millions of sun.
Yes.
So we are worshipping one sun, but Krishna is a millions of sun.
Right.
So this sun is also coming from Krishna. So you are worshipping ultimately to Krishna. You are asking arogya from Krishna only. So, but he is in charge, and he is empowered with that. So we respect him, and so we are chanting his name. So like that.
So this is not considered as demigod worship, you are saying, like
like simple. Krishna never says to give up work. He says give up reaction of work, attachment to reaction. Correct. In a similar way, when it comes to worship also, if somebody doing in traditional some worship is doing, in tradition it is coming. We are not saying that you take up some other worship because you already is there. This worship already is given by our acharya, like some acharya or Gopal Bhatt Goswami says, ये यज्ञ करना तो ये नाम जपना है, ये नाम जपना है. So somewhere you cannot remove everything. कि मुझे ये नहीं चाहिए, वो नहीं चाहिए. No, some are quite typical prayers we have to recite. So then at that place our faith should be protected. When you do work, our attachment should not be there to the result. When you worship gods, our faith should not get distracted. Our faith should be rightly fixed in Krishna. That is the whole thing actually.
Okay.
Deva Narayana Angaja.
Okay.
Okay. Yamimam puspitam macham. Yes, Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhu, actually I am also the same background of demigods, but my question is, when I am chanting and worshipping Krishna only, it is difficult to concentrate on Krishna. But when you mix those demigod worship, kabhi kabhi humko kast aata hai, like then we will go to the fruity mentality only. So like it's best to approach Krishna only instead of going for demigods. I am thinking like that. So what's it? Because when we are doing chanting also, mind is going anywhere, office work, sometime kabhi. So instead of worshipping demigods and that time concentrating on Krishna, I felt it is very difficult. Because we have come to some sampradaya, then we have to attach these rules. That's I am thinking, like my opinion, but
Yes.
Yes. I agree.
In Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, Krishna directly says this thing that all these demigods I am only empowering, I am only giving them all opulences which they are bestowing upon you. And who goes to demigods? Huh? Those who are having, those who are less intelligent. अबुद्धयः, अल्प बुद्धयः, अल्प बुद्धि वाले लोग जाते हैं डेमिगॉड के पास. So, and also one who is having material desires, in order to fulfill those material desires quickly, he goes to demigods. So, it's very clearly mentioned who goes to demigod. Now, when somebody goes to demigod, he has to also understand. That's why I mentioned कि मेरे अंदर material desire है पहला चीज. हाँ, पहला चीज तो प्रपात मेंशंस बिकॉज ऑफ फ्रूटिव एक्टिविटी वी आर डूइंग ऑल दिस थिंग वॉट एवर. सी अगर हमको मटेरियल डिजायर नहीं होता तो हमें किसी भी चीज़ की जरूरत नहीं. मैंने बोला माधवेंद्रपुरी बन जाओ ना, लेकिन अभी मुश्किल है अभी. हम सब बिकॉज वी आर फैमिली पीपल, वी आर लिविंग इन द वर्ल्ड, सो वी हैड सर्टेन डिजायर. वी कैनॉट से वी डोंट हैव एनी डिजायर. Like one person was saying, I don't have any desire. So I said, okay, really? You're saying I can record? Okay, come now. Now I take sannyas now. He said, no, 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 I cannot take sannyas. So, just by saying it does not happen. One has to be practical. So yes, if it is coming in one family lineage, one can continue those things with this understanding that I don't have faith, I understand Krishna is only giving everything. But if it is disturbing in one sadhana, as you mentioned, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions in Chaitanya Shikshamrit, if Varnashram principle is disturbing in your bhakti, you give up that process. That process should not be followed. भक्ति में जो हेल्प करता है आपको, लाइक भक्ति में हेल्प मीन्स लाइक एज ही मेंशन वर्शिपिंग लाइक सूर्य. So he is basically following tradition, and if his health is good, it will be good. But it's not disturbing the bhakti. It's not disturbing the bhakti.
Actually, I have one question, Prabhu. If future typical health problem comes, then we will remember sun god only instead of Krishna, because maybe that problem maybe also happens. Like ultimately, we should our mind immediately should go to Krishna, not to another demigods. If you worship hell for Suryadev, then if some health issues comes, immediately our heart will go to that demigod. Is that not a problem?
See, question is, do we have a sun god deity at home? That is question. Because heart means how many of us have seen sun god first? पहला तो चीज वो है.
Not like that. The faith is also If faith, he is the giver of health.
No, it's not like that. Ahead Sloka is going to say, see, it's not like that. And we are not going to say that you have to follow till last fag end of your bhakti. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Right now somebody is doing, let it be done. और ज़्यादा बड़ा मंत्र नहीं है, छोटा मंत्र है. Somebody is chanting for some 5-10 minutes and worshipping sun god and offering certain thing. But he should also understand I'm offering to Krishna. Behind sun, who is there? Krishna is there. So with this understanding, if somebody is doing that, and also under the guidance of a spiritual master, means what I mean to say, he should ask the Vaishnava spiritual master, Maharaj, I'm doing, is it okay? Maharaj says, okay, continue, only understand that it's a Krishna only, Surya Narayan, you are worshipping Surya Narayan.
So it's like 30 seconds thing, and main point, my main thing is that because for children, see, what is bhakti? Bhakti, we take person gradually ahead. We don't just pick it up and say ना सब कुछ छोड़ दो सीधा jump मार के चले जाओ. It also goes gradually. तो person को भी we have to bring that person from lower mode to upper. There are some children who will just wake up from bed and even not even take bath and just rinse their mouth and go to school. So for them it is difficult to concentrate also. So better than that is child who gets up, follow these practices, and then get ready, pray. We also do arti at home, and then child goes to school. So that way it is better. Now how this can happen is when other family also creates a culture to do this, and when the child comes to a certain age, then gradually those questions come and we impart that knowledge also. And okay, this is what is right. Even if it doesn't ask, at least they're on a Sattvagut platform and someday they will take this up. But at my level, I am doing it with full conviction that it's not coming between me and my Krishna's worship. So that way.
Yeah, that is why it is mentioned. Again I'm saying traditions are there. We have to be careful in this regard only. We cannot give up immediately. I'm saying for family people it's very difficult. It's not easy. Unless you go to the Banprasth stage and then go more forward. See, many times the family traditions are very strict. So we should worship it without faith. Faith means you should only have faith in Krishna and they are the in charge. बस उतना काफी है. You are not going to ask anything from them. Means you are asking the arogya, you are asking from Krishna only. And actually see, even in pure devotion service, the prayer also does not come like हम तो कभी मांगते नहीं भगवान हमारा शरीर ठीक कर दो, ये कर दो, वो कर दो. भगवान आपको सब पता है क्या है. लेकिन there are certain situations like Jai Pataka Maharaj health. So then devotees ask, can we pray to Lord Nrsimhadev? So Maharaj said, if you all desire, you can pray. So then every day in Mayapur they chant prayers for Jai Pataka Maharaj good health. So they are praying to Lord Nrsimhadev. So there can be one, you can say replacement from Surya to Nrsimha. That is one thing. And every day the prayer is going on. Every day they pray. In the similar way, sometimes some other Guru Maharaj, so their disciple wants to pray for their Guru and then they pray to some demigods also for Guru's good health. They may not ask Gurudev, they start praying anyway. But the whole understanding is that our faith should be in Krishna. And we should not, again, even if you are asking something from Krishna, you should understand that it's a material desire, my Lord, I am attached to it. Let it be purified tomorrow. And I come to the pure devotion service, you know everything. So like that we should go ahead. We cannot impose bhakti on anyone. It has to organically come out slowly. वो आ जाएगा. देखो जब तक आप भगवान के कांटेक्ट में रहोगे ना वो सब कुछ आता है, चिंता मत करो. When you are in the right process, in the right knowledge, you will be guided slowly. वो हो जाता है. Every people need some experience. They may not come directly by hearing. They need some experience, and in their due course, Krishna's guidance will help them actually. Okay. What to अभी तो वर्णाश्रम इस्टेब्लिश नहीं हुआ. जब वर्णाश्रम इस्टेब्लिश होगा इस्कॉन में तो फिर तो 1000 क्वेश्चन आने वाले हैं. ये क्यों करना है, वो क्यों करना है, ये देवी दिस लक्ष्मी का मंत्र क्यों जपना है, वो क्यों जपना है. So like that, so many things will come.
Your point you came mention primary, secondary. Whenever there is a conflict, we know what to be done. So Varnashram में भी वही है. Devi Varnashram you said ना. So like what is primary we should know, what is secondary we should know. Conflict आएगा ही नहीं होगा.
Yes. Okay. So the discussion happened a lot on that. Any other question?
I have a question. Like जैसे हम लोग अभी हम लोग कुछ यज्ञ करते हैं, जैसे संस्कार आज करते हैं, जैसे जीव गोस्वामी ने पंचरात्रि का विधि के दिया है. That comes under दैवी वर्णाश्रम system. Is it correct? तो ऐसे कौन से बुक्स है या क्या है पता है क्या थोड़ा सा मिस so that we have more information like दैवी one is a पंचरात्रि का विधि by जीव गोस्वामी, another you told ना हरि
भक्ति विलास.
Okay.
See, अभी ये जो भी फॉलो करना है ना आप डायरेक्टली मत फॉलो करो बिकॉज इसके लिए गुरु का परमिशन चाहिए. बिकॉज उसमें what is important for you to follow is first thing is these things. When it becomes nicely institution में अगर ये आ जाता है धीरे धीरे guided by pure devotees or acharyas, so then it becomes easy for us to follow.
Okay, should I miss in the like GBC authorities from GBC and that like okay.
This is one thing. So something we can follow, but if you take everything na you become confused.
Okay.
ये क्यों करना है, क्या करना है, ये करना है कि वो करना है. Like Prabhupada has given Gayatri, but if you see the Gayatri given by Jiva Goswami others, that takes 20 minutes. 20 मिनट लगेगा आपको करने में. उसमें पूरा खड़ा होके गोल गोल घूम के जल डालना है. उसमें पूरा वंदनम सब कुछ आता है. प्रभुपाद ने क्या दिया है, बस हाथ को लपेटो और गायत्री करो. तो now if somebody has to, now it has to be given to those to whom it has to be given for Gurukula. Now next training Gurukula जो बच्चे आ रहे हैं अगर उनको ट्रेन करना है तो प्रॉपर इन सब शास्त्रों में ट्रेन कर सकते हैं, मना नहीं है। बिकॉज ब्राह्मण का मतलब क्या है? ब्राह्मण मतलब ही शुड बी ऑफ ऑल दिस प्रिंसिपल्स, बट दैवी वर्णाश्रम के नियमों के हिसाब से, कर्मकांड नहीं, दैवी वर्ण के नियम के हिसाब। सो देन बट अभी हम लोग का क्या है, नाउ व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, गुरु गिव्स टू डिसाइपल who is a gurukuli, and he tells from Hari Bhakti Vilas and from other scriptures, and he takes the onus कि I am training my disciples like that. So then these people when they come up ahead, so we also need certain brahmanas in future who knows in detail all these processes, ये क्या होता है वो क्या होता है। बट जो भी करना है अंडर गुरु करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि वैष्णवपाद विमसिकल नहीं है। इवन दो आचार्य हैव गिवन, so we can learn philosophy when, but when it comes to practice na, we have to take from guru only, कि गुरुदेव can I practice this thing, then it happens. It requires certain permission.
Yes, Prabhu, understood. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna, we'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tomorrow again we'll continue from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Right.